Hello. I'm going to share an experience in this video of my recent bar work experience, you know. So basically, I go to bars now and again by myself, to watch Formula One or just have a beer. Pass the time. And I'm very conscious of people's reactions, and being there by yourself, and you buy one pint doesn't send signals of here I'm rich, especially because I don't dress very nice. I just wear Primark cotton t-shirts, 100% cotton. I don't give a hoot if they look good. I just buy them because they're cheap, like they're cotton, So I'd rather wear a cheap cotton t-shirt than an expensive polyester one, right? So you can just tell that, you're not going to get a lot of respect if you're a single man in the bar by yourself wearing cheap clothes and not spending a lot of money. And you're not Brad Pitt. So the other week there, I helped out in a bar a few months ago actually, and each consecutive night that I worked in the bar, what happened? I noticed that girls were looking at me with more interest in their eyes. And the first night, one friend asked for another friend if she could have my phone number. I had to, politely refuse because she wasn't very good looking. But the point is, the second night, the same thing happened. A girl a couple of years older than me was chatting me up at the bar, giving me blimmin' tips. So was their man as well. And they were asking all sorts of questions about me. She was asking me to go out the next day with her and spend time with her, and she was offering me a phone number, And there was another girl watching, and she commented on how I was doing so well behind the bar, But the girl who was asking me to spend the day with her the next day was maybe a 5 out of 10 looks. I'm harsh on the looks, but personality wise, like she had 2 children and stuff, so she was not really of my interest. But the point is, it just shows you how you're not being assessed or judged by women on the basis of your genetics or who you are, which is caused by your genetics. You're assessed, you're judged on your social standing in the position, in your milieu, in your environment. Oh, like also your looks and stuff like that too, but they have to be some sort of reasonable level. You know what I mean? As long as you're not like, the Hunchback of Notre Dame or something. As long as you're reasonable, like at least average. The social position matters so much, and it just shows you, like, if I had been in the bar myself, not working, none of that would have happened. None of those girls would have approached me and started talking to me. Well, they didn't approach me, but they wouldn't have sparked up a conversation, and they definitely wouldn't have asked for my phone number or even half begged for it. If I had been in that bar by myself, having a pint, just talking to strangers, it wouldn't have happened. Not a chance. Even though I'm the same person, same genes, same everything. What would have happened if I had been there by myself? People would have thought I was weird because I'm by myself. They would probably not want to talk to me very much. They would think I was strange approaching strangers to talk to them. And I would weird them out with my conversations about IQ and stuff and probably get chucked out of the bar. That's usually what happens when I go to bars. Especially in Ireland, because Ireland is so woke. It's so anti-free speech. Right? So that basically shows that women don't date the man, they date the social position. They date the position, basically. That's all they do. So this shows you how important it is for men to have a social position. Like this shows you, like there are so little social positions for men, right? So, and they're becoming scarcer and scarcer. They're, dwindling away because of feminism and like the system basically, encapsulating them and taking them over for now the women are basically married to the state. They've it's like Freud's book that talked about the primal horde. That's basically what the government's become. Women are now getting fertility treatment and sperm donations provided for by the government, who have disenfranchised men and taken away their social positions, which gives them access to women. So basically, men today are screwed. Like average men are absolutely FUCKED. They're dependent upon their social position. Women date the social position, not the man. And this is a big, big problem for various reasons. Like, I always ask women, would you rather, kings of the past era were inbred, some of them, and some of them had very bad genetics, low IQ and things like that. But obviously I would always say women would date the king with a 80 IQ and, deformities and asymmetrical face and bad health over, a Hercules with low social status. Let's say a homeless Hercules. I'm not referring to myself here, obviously, but you know what I mean. They would rather date a man with social position over the man with top genetics. That's just a fact. And this has some very serious consequences, because you can literally manipulate female, wombs, their decisions, and direct them towards really bad dating habits or no dating at all, and screw up the collective genome of the country, making it fall off a cliff. This is very serious, and no one cares about it. Like, it's literal social castration for a whole class of people almost. It's like we're living in this time where we have harems and women are married to the state. It needs to be fixed. It's like, I've gone on about 7.5 minutes this video. I'll probably go on for another minute. I know you've probably all switched off. But like, we all talk about social status. We refer to someone else's worth as their social status. I don't care about people's social status. It is of no interest to me. We can now, through diversity programs and, false credentialism, push people into fake jobs that shouldn't exist and glorify their egos. So we can make a 90 IQ woman, 4 out of 10 with bad DNA, feel like she's Aphrodite, who deserves, something better than Hercules, with 5 PhDs and being a CEO of some top company. That's what she thinks she deserves, even though she's bottom of the pile. She's judging herself by the fake social status she has been granted by the system that's dying and it's on its knees. That's how she values herself. She doesn't value herself by her DNA, her true status. Like, is it, what I'm trying to get at here, is it possible, to get, bring about true status? Anyone can get a fake degree these days. 65% of English majors don't understand basic English or literal literature English. Like, they don't even understand what they've studied for the past 10 years, right? So that's a credential that doesn't fit with the real world. It says this person can do this, but they really can't. So they'd be given a certificate, like they can drive, but they crash the car, But someone with true genetic status, like true genes, with high IQ, can go and pick up a book and read it straight away and understand it. And that person would be a better teacher than the person who's been educated and trained in it. Like, that person understands it more. So that's true status. But we're living in a time where true status doesn't align with social status, it's the constructed status of society, which is on the coattails of previous generations which had a more alignment with genetic status and social status, if you know what I mean. Well, it definitely would have in some arenas. Not really get into that though, because I'll probably make a lot of errors. So the point of the matter is, if you're still making judgments based on social status, you're part of the problem. We need to start thinking about genetic status and get rid of credentialism and start judging people like for their true worth. Like some homeless person, some, I don't know, jobless man. Jobless because, one, he's being disenfranchised by a global system and the government are, promoting a dysgenic system or fertility. We need to start judging people like that as better than these middle managers who are there because they follow rules. They're like average people, midwits. Like, they've been granted all of this social status in the system, even though you have people who are higher in genetic status above them, but in lower social positions. Is it possible that women would ever see through the social status and start dating based on genetic status? That's we need to start describing genetic status. What's your IQ? What's your physical health? What's your physical ability? These key factors. Then your morals. Can you think for yourself, or do you just follow the crowd? Like, who's in power? People who aren't very high IQ. Like, obviously you have some at the top, but middle managers, and things like that, they pull the strings. People working in government, like people working in shops, excuse me, they have a lot of power. They can decide who gets jobs, and then people with jobs tend to have more friends and stuff like that. And they can decide who gets kicked out of bars and who's, like, if you're not allowed in the bars, how can you socialize and find a woman? You know what I mean? You have all of these people, average people, slightly above average people, midwits, not very physically gifted, probably have health problems. They probably didn't do very well at school, or they probably did alright at school and stuff like that. They're midwits at best, and not physically talented or nothing, not very good looking, not ugly either. Those people are ruling the system, because they're not great, they're mediocre. So why have these people got a higher social position than people who have better genetics than them? That just doesn't make sense. I don't know. I think we're screwed. Like, women are just going to go by the social status, not the genetic status. Like, unless your genetic status, I've gone on a bit. This is the end of the video.